Hi everyone. A new week and more tariff uncertainty. We got at the end of last week, the Supreme Court ruled against Donald Trump and his tariffs, but that didn't stop the president, who has gone on to slap 15% now globally as a minimum tariff. Now, we don't really know how these are going to work. On Friday, we actually saw stocks in the US close higher because of expectations that maybe we would get lots of refunds for companies, which of course would be really good news for corporates and for stocks generally. But we have no idea now that he's thrown this other spanner in the works. So let's go straight to the charts and we'll see what's going on. All markets are open now, and we've got some fairly mild losses there, fairly mild loss actually for the NASDAQ, so it's down 0.25%. As you can see, European stocks are a bit higher. They've been really treading water all morning, waiting for direction from the US. Now, the Nikkei, if you follow my pointer down here, as you can see, the Nikkei, so the Japanese index didn't get off so lightly. It fell over 1%. So did the Chinese index, was down 1.25%. So I think there was a knee-jerk reaction lower, but actually that's just been worked out of the system because really we don't know what any of this means. We don't even know if these are going to be legal or if they're going to be permanent, temporary. The Trade Act that he's trying to apply these tariffs with, it just allows 150 days of tariffs. So it's very bizarre how any of this is going to work. So we're just going to have to watch it. But yes, we saw earlier today a bit of a sell America trade that has been worked out of the system as we progress through Monday. And it feels like it's not really, there's no direction in markets, I would say, but we're certainly not seeing a rout like we did last April on the back of reciprocal tariffs. So nothing like that at all. If we take a look at this is the World Currency Index, and this is the G10 currencies against the US dollar just for today, essentially. So we've got strength in the yen, the pound, the euro, the Swiss franc, and not massive amounts there. The yen is the biggest gainer, so it's up 0.27% versus the US dollar. But then actually the dollar is coming back because the dollar was the second weakest G10 FX currency today. But now, as you can see, it's somewhere around about the middle. So again, that sell America trade hasn't happened on the back of these latest tariffs. We've got to listen, obviously a lot of headline risk. We've also got State of the Union from the president tomorrow as well. So on Tuesday, we've got State of the Union from the president. Now, if you read our week ahead or if you received that, then you'll know what we are looking for. We expect some more detail about trade and tariffs. We also expect some details about the Donroe Doctrine, so what he means and what he'd like to do with the Arctic, maybe when he wants to strike Iran. But for now, markets are very, very calm about it all. And I think that's one thing to watch out for. Now, we don't just have geopolitical issues. We also have some corporate news coming up, important one this week. This is NVIDIA's chart. As you can see, NVIDIA is eking out again. It's managing to stay above its 200, 150-day moving averages. So it's in quite a strong position technically. It's just about flat for the year though. It really hasn't made any great big shakes, but it is up about 6% on the month as it has recovered throughout February, as you can see here. Now, NVIDIA will release earnings on Wednesday. So they release their earnings report after the market closes. And this is the detail of their earnings report and what to expect. This is the number to look out for. If you just follow my pointer here, 65.8 billion. I mean, it's absolutely huge in terms of revenues. Net income or profit coming in at 37.4 billion. Compare that to the prior period. I'm just going to toggle between these two and you'll see what I mean. 57 billion. Now that was massive when we got those results back in November. But these ones, right now, you know, the fact that we are looking at 65 billion, so an 8 billion uplift is absolutely huge. And the outlook is expected to be big as well. I mean, just look at this. This is earnings trends. This is the estimate, so what analysts expect, but they are getting just bigger and bigger. So looking for the NVIDIA bubble to burst seems a bit silly at the moment. Now, we obviously are seeing pockets of the AI trade burst, but NVIDIA is not that trade. NVIDIA is not part of that sell-off. As I said, it's fairly flat for the year so far. It's at the top of the Magnificent Seven along with Apple. And it is also, you know, it's performed quite strongly as software companies, for example, have sold off. Fears about AI and then replacing certain businesses is not impacting NVIDIA. And the reason why is that it's the whole concept of the trade and the narrative around the trade is that AI is going to be massive. So you need to have the chips to power the AI. Now that's having a real bad impact on companies where AI could replace it, although I even think that's gone a bit too far. But it's you still need that hardware. So that's why NVIDIA is doing very well. In terms of Apple's slightly different. And that is because Apple is a slightly different situation. That's because it hasn't really gone headlong into AI. And I think markets quite like that as a bit of a tech hedge, a bit of an AI hedge. Now, if we go elsewhere, we'll go here. We're going to look at what is going on in commodities, because obviously commodities really, really important. Look at that. Brent crude has risen above $72 per barrel. It has reversed earlier declines. So it's up about 70 cents on the day. Which has had a very, very strong week. Year to date, it's up 20%, so it's outpacing all stocks. It's done really, really well, oil, and that's because of fears about US striking Iran, and there's a real risk that they will do that. Will Donald Trump lay out those plans? Will he lay out those plans tomorrow at the State of the Union? I think there could be a bit of pricing in of that. We've also got a real increase in the price of gold as well, and that's going to rise on the back of fears about tariffs, but also fears about what's going on in Iran as well. So, gold very comfortably above $5,000 now, above 5,150 as well, up $72 on the day, so up 1.4%. Silver up 3.3%. So silver back above 87. So we talk about these, and we do. I mean, it's real. There's been a lot of volatility in gold and silver, but we are still up 21% year to date in silver and 19% year to date in gold. So they are still outpacing stocks, and I think it's just worth remembering that there still is a demand for precious metals. They are still seen as a really good alternative to everything else that's been going on. Now, if we look at the biggest movers in the Euro stocks, talk about alternatives, we're seeing Rheinmetall, that is the German arms manufacturer, that's down, along with ASML, that's a bit lower. But if we look on the other side, we've got some real strong gains there for LVMH and for European luxury stocks. Now, why do I even mention this? I mention it because obviously defense has been a big theme going on, but obviously, we still think it's a very powerful theme, but it's not going up necessarily in a straight line. There will be periods where it's pulling back like it is today. But some of the other alternatives that European stock markets offer, like luxury, remember, it's always worth remembering that a lot of European markets, they have their own thing going on. It's not just dictated by the US. So there's a lot of demand there for some of these other sectors that are very traditionally European. So hence why I think we're seeing kind of a move into luxury. Likewise with the pound, with the FTSE 100, Endeavour, Fresnillo, there you go. So you've got your Endeavours, your Fresnillos. They are doing really, really well. They are the gold miners, so they are boosted by the gold price there. So again, it's just really showing you how the UK index, European indices are really nice alternatives to the US. On the other side of this equation, the biggest losers, AstraZeneca, and we've got the LSE as well. So the LSE is going through a bit of a complicated period at the moment where there's some takeover speculation. AstraZeneca is possibly reeling from the fact that it doesn't have any type of diet or weight loss pill to rival Eli Lilly, and that comes after Novo Nordisk, remember the maker of Ozempic, that has absolutely slumped today. So it's down more than 10%. That was after its latest super duper weight loss drug actually showed that it didn't do any better than Eli Lilly's drug. So that's kind of knocked it on its head. But if we just go back to the World Equity Index, this is a great chart, always to just anchor yourself in. Yeah, again, the NASDAQ is actually clawing back some of those losses. So we really are seeing what I would call a very mild reaction to the new tariffs, because we really need to find out more of them, and we will do over the week. Obviously, you've also got to think about where Donald Trump is, and the fact that he tends to tweet kind of late at night, later into the afternoon UK time. So just do watch out for that as well. But overall, a really interesting week. We've got those NVIDIA results. They're definitely one to watch. I don't think they'll necessarily pick up the whole AI trade, but it could certainly spur demand into some of those really big tech players. And I think if NVIDIA can deliver a massive report again, then I think the stock price could be primed to reap benefits and maybe start posting a year-to-date gain. And we've also got that State of the Union, so that is something else to watch. But thank you so much for joining, guys, and we will speak to you soon.